clap?
Yeah, go for it.
Clap again.
Okay.
There we go. This is the definitive Marvel list, bitch. So we've got kind of 6 tiers, I think, if my math is correct. Because we have one with its own category, which we'll get to. Then we have one that's not even released yet, which, get your shit together, tierranking.com. Why would you put Spider-Man Far From Home on there? So we'll start there. This category is the why is it even on here? It's going instantly at the bottom, not because it's a bad movie, but because it's confusing as hell as to why it's there. It's not even out yet. It's not even a cool poster. It's not there for continuity's sake. It's not there for any discernible reason. Side note, the Spider-Man Homecoming poster sucks ass too, so you guys fucked it up twice. It's a long rant, but it just doesn't make sense as to why it's there. Dog shit. To no one's surprise, Thor the Dark World is in this one, for obvious reasons. This was in Marvel's Phase 2, I think, where they were just having a stint of absolute shit villains. And Malekith is certainly one of them. They completely waste Christopher Eccleston. The only thing significant that happens in this movie, the Reality Stone comes from this weird like red jizz that they call the ether for like 90% of the movie. Pretty much you get stupid side plot with Jane, Chris Hemsworth kind of phoning it in. He's still got his stupid long hair, even longer and greasier looking than the first one. Not the dyed eyebrows though, thank God. Anthony Hopkins yells a lot, which is funny. He's like, "Your birthright was today!" And he takes like these weird pauses. The only cool thing is the visuals of like the portals and shit. Can you put the portals behind me for this?
I'll put the portals behind you.
Cool. The portals are kind of cool. The way that they find the ether is stupid as fuck. Jane sticks her hand in the stupid rock and goes like, and then like is possessed now, I guess. I don't know. Thor's mom dies. Loki dies for the second time. Well, obviously he doesn't die because he dies in the beginning of Infinity War, and he creates his own timeline in Endgame. Pretty much this movie's useless. The only reason it exists is because the Russos just were like, we need that one there, so they can go back to it in Endgame, because we didn't know how the fuck else to introduce the ether, aka the Reality Stone. Thor the Dark World, 2 out of 10. Up next, we have possibly the second worst sequel in the entire MCU. Ant-Man and the Wasp. Nothing happens in this movie. You get more stupid Michael Pena, which is like pretty good sequences, not gonna lie. Walter Goggins is completely wasted as the villain. Ghost is pretty useless. She doesn't show up in Endgame, so her side plot is pretty much made to be irrelevant, stupid, useless. Michael Douglas phones it in as usual because he's just old and he's Michael Douglas now. He's kind of like the Bruce Willis of 70-year-olds. Paul Rudd, he's alright, I guess. The last 25 minutes are probably the best part of the movie because it's almost over. Although it does have some very good post-credit scenes, I will say that. The ant playing the drums is probably one of my favorites because it starts out very good with like the little pan and you're like, holy shit, what's happening, what's happening, what's happening? Thanos has snapped, holy shit, this is how they're reacting! And then it's like, boom, 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 boom. Remember that joke at the beginning of the movie that wasn't even funny then? It's even funnier now because we got a CG fucking ant playing drums. 2 out of 10. I don't ever want to watch Ant-Man and the Wasp ever again. Up next, we have Thor. Now this might get a little bit of hate because some people like Thor. And for those people I say, you must have went to a different fucking movie because that shit was so boring. Tom Hiddleston's not a good villain in it. I had to pause Thor multiple times at the wee age of 11 just to get through it because it is so boring. Thor, 2 out of 10. And that does it for the dog shit category. Meh/forgettable. This one's a big one. Hunker down, folks. First up, we got Captain Marvel. The most recent standalone movie is possibly one of Marvel's most boring movies. I got no joy from watching this movie. Playing, what's that song where it's like, you're just a girl who's been
It's No Doubt, but I don't know what the song.
That song by No Doubt where she's fighting the other aliens that are, oh my gosh, the Kree are bad people. Stupid twist, by the way, because you guys kind of undermine the plot of Secret Invasion having any merit whatsoever in the near future. Nice social commentary, by the way. Really cool to make the aliens like alien people, refugees. Good job there. Okay, this film sucks. Sam Jackson is not even that good in it. I enjoy some of the 90s stuff in it, like when she crashes into a Blockbuster for no reason. And then she goes over to this fucking 90s payphone and just turns it into this pager to space, which is just the most over-the-top shit. And that's when this movie is at its best, is when it's over-the-top, but not shitty, and self-promoting. That's why the No Doubt scene sucks. The Stan Lee cameo in it's actually pretty cute. Brie Larson walks by him on a train and he's reading his script for his cameo in Mallrats, which is actually kind of a sweet send-off. She gives him a little smile. It's actually Brie Larson's best moment in the entire movie. She just walks by him and she gives him a little look, and it's nice. It's wholesome. You did Stan Lee good on this one, movie. You did good. Overall, Captain Marvel is probably a 3 out of 10. Up next in Meh/Forgettable is Ant-Man. Ant-Man and another movie in the Meh/Forgettable are my ultimate guilty pleasures when it comes to the MCU. Ant-Man, I think, is actually quite a decent movie, but it's certainly not in the good tier, nor is it in the great tier, and it's definitely not in the god tier. Paul Rudd gives a great performance as the stupid fucking hero that nobody should care about, but I totally am behind. But his family sucks. Hank Pym is just an asshole for the entire movie, and Janet Van Dyne is kind of a bitch. She has no reason to be. She's like, oh, my mom died, I should be the one who does this. All the scenes where it gets really weird, like when he goes into the quantum realm by accident, good stuff. Also, the villain in it, he gets a lot of flack, but I think that he's actually pretty good. This dude from House of Cards that, like, Kevin Spacey fucking kills. Spoiler alert, I know you haven't watched House of Cards yet.
That doesn't mean anything to me yet. I don't know who anybody is. I just know Kevin Spacey.
Cool. Well, anyways.
Thank you.
He also turns people into boogers, which is hilarious. I stole that joke from a YouTuber. Anytime he's in that bathroom and he goes, and the guy goes like, it's so funny. Because all I just think of, he wipes him up with a tissue, I'm like, yeah, that's just a booger. That's literally a human booger now. Ant-Man, 5 out of 10, or a 6. It's debatable. Clap 3. Up next in the Meh/Forgettable tier, we have Captain America, the First Avenger. Pretty good movie. I don't know. I don't remember very much from it, hence why it's in this fucking category. Chris Evans is pretty darn good in it. And most of the scenes where he's little Chris Evans is fucking weird. He's just this face CGI'd onto this little body, and it's kind of creepy. Not Stanley Tucci. The guy who looks like Stanley Tucci. Maybe it is Stanley Tucci. Maybe Stanley Tucci is in this movie. I think he is. But the German doctor that, like, convinces him to fucking do this shit, who I think actually is Stanley Tucci,
What a twist.
is awesome. Haley Atwell's pretty good as the love interest, Peggy Carter. Well, I don't know how they convinced Hugo Weaving to play Red Skull, because clearly they didn't treat him well enough because he didn't come back for Infinity War or Endgame. They actually have Ross Marquand, Master Impersonator, playing him in those two movies. So yeah, I wish you guys wouldn't have fucked up Hugo Weaving that much. There's a cool part, actually, where after he gets his super soldier shit, and it's like, oh shit, we got Chris Evans, look how big he is, look at, he's Chris Evans, oh look, he's got fucking breasticles, he's got stomachicles, he's big now. And Haley Atwell's like, oh. She can barely contain herself because, you know, World War II women. I got away from the other part that I was trying to talk about. After he gets his super soldier serum, there's like a German dude who's like actually like a double agent within S.H.I.E.L.D., I guess. And he like shoots Stanley Tucci. He shoots Stanley Tucci's character, who I'm assuming is Stanley Tucci at this point, because I refuse to fucking check. Cap has to like go after him with like his super speed and his super strength, and he like fucking... That's when he first finds out about, like, Hydra. He's, like, choking him by the fucking, the submarine that he's about to escape in. And he does almost escape in, but Cap's like, and he, like, punches through and he pulls him out. And he's like, who are you? Why did you do that? Blah, blah, blah. And he's like, Hail Hydra. And you just hear him, like, break his tooth. And he's like, and he, like, bites his cyanide pill. And I'm like, that's dark as fuck. But then you're like, holy shit, this is a World War II movie. That makes sense. I think this scene, like, made Cap my favorite Avenger for a long time, until Civil War. But we'll get to that We will get to that. Ending's pretty good. Where he wakes up and he just like starts beating ass because he's like, "Where's Peggy? I want to go on my fucking date." And then like Nick Fury's like, It's 2011, bitch. It's a fine movie, I guess. Captain America: First Avenger 4 out of 10. Up next in meh/forgettable. I have no white guilt for this film. Black Panther is fucking stupid. There's no argument that I can make for this movie that's not going to come off racist, dismissive, or anything. So I'm just going to say this. I have watched Black Panther twice. I didn't like it the first time, and I liked it even less the second time. They waste Sterling K. Brown, who's a fantastic actor. He's in 2 scenes. The ending fight looks like a PS2 video game, which I know has been compared to so many times. Killmonger, upon the second rewatch, I did not like him as much. Michael B. Jordan's a great actor, and I could tell he gave his all on this one, but I don't think that it's that good of a movie. Black Panther is boring in his own movie, and that's really sad to see. It's very, very, very average. And they also waste so many good actors in this movie. I just want to say that you waste... I'm really going to do this. You waste Angela Bassett, Forrest Whitaker, Letitia Wright, the girl who plays Michonne from The Walking Dead, Chadwick Boseman, Sterling K. Brown. Did I say Forrest Whitaker already?
I think you did.
Forrest Whitaker anyways. Andy Serkis. Andy Serkis was actually pretty fucking good in that movie because he's so bonkers. He literally brings up SoundCloud. He's like, "Oh yeah, what's your SoundCloud name?" in his weird South African accent. Daniel Kaluuya literally got nominated for Best Actor the year before, and he's just a pussy in this movie. CG rhinos in the Best Picture nominee, Black Panther. That's all I'm gonna say. Black Panther, 5 out of 10. Or should I say, clap 4, bitch. Next, the incredible, or should I say, the incredibly fucking bland Hulk. I really wish they hadn't fired Edward Norton, but apparently he was an asshole on set. This movie serves no purpose in the grand scheme of things. I don't remember a lot from this movie. I remember there's a fight at a college for some reason. Hulk can't get hard because he would Hulk out, so he can't have sex with Liv Tyler, which, I mean, I don't know if he's losing out there. She's kind of dreamy, but she's got like scarily dreamy eyes. She's just kind of like acting like she's on Xans or something. She sounds so sleepy. She's just like... The only thing that happens in this movie of relevance is Tony Stark comes into a bar before the credits and he's like, "Yo, Thunderbolt Ross, what the fuck is up, G?" And those are the only 2 actors that like carry over. They introduced Dickhead. I don't know his fucking name. The scene with Abomination and Hulk at the end is apparently the best part, and that looks like a stupid CGI mess. So, it was 2008, so I'm not that hard on it. The Incredible Hulk. Yeesh. I don't know why I put that mess/forgettable. I don't have fond memories of that movie. Let's go ahead and give it a 3. Sorry. Shit clap. Clap number 5? Iron Man 2 came out in 2010, I think. And it's the first of many decent, but not as good as the original sequels. Sam Rockwell gives a halfway decent performance because he's always great in everything that he does. He introduces Black Widow to the MCU, which is kind of cool because she's kind of kick-ass. Wish they hadn't made her like show so much cleavage though to like put asses in seats. Anyways, Scarlett Johansson is not that good in this movie. Speaking of her character, she's kind of just this sex appeal secret agent that just scissors everyone's neck. Don Cheadle makes his first appearance as Colonel James Rhodes, and it's actually his like worst performance. Mickey Rourke is terrible in this movie. Whiplash is a stupid villain who should have never, ever made it onto film. The racetrack scene's stupid. I like it when Tony Stark literally shits himself in his suit. He's like, "How do you go to the bathroom?" is a question I get a lot. And he just takes a second, and I think there's like a little fart sound effect. And he's just like that. And I'm like, what the fuck? And I like the little gif of him just going like, "Yeah!" But, like, that happens at one of the saddest parts in the movie and one of the most cringe parts of the movie, and I feel so bad that it actually has to be in the movie to, like, understand Iron Man's arc, because he's just this fucked up, broken man. So actually, Robert Downey Jr. does give a very good performance in this, but I wasn't sick of him just yet, so he was clearly the best part. The little weapons montage with Sam Rockwell and Rhodey is fucking hilarious. So underrated. Sam Rockwell is just bringing out these guns, just like jerking them off like they're like his ex-wives or something, or like they're his current wives, and he's just talking them up, and it's so funny because it's so erotic for no reason, and Rhodey and his colonel are just not having it. Iron Man 2, 4 out of 10. My allergies is starting to act up, fuck. In the last film, oh shit. Oh.
Power through.
The last film in oh fuck. The last film in mess/forgettable is Avengers Age of Ultron. I fucking loved this movie when it came out. It has the best end credit sequence in the entire MCU. Avengers Endgame is only a close second, but I had to come around to that one. Avengers Age of Ultron has the dopest god damn it end credit scene ever, as it like fucking pans around the sculpture of the Avengers, and it's so cool. Yeah, Age of Ultron's actually not that bad. It gets a lot more hate than I think it should. It's just because it's not the first Avengers, which I have plenty of issues with. I just think that Avengers Age of Ultron has not aged very well. The entire Age of Ultron is completely wasted. A lot of people have issues with Ultron quipping and shit, but the fact that Tony Stark created him, it makes plenty of sense. Ultron doesn't pose the threat that he should. That's the problem. I get that everyone, like, as soon as he gets out and as soon as he escapes, everyone's like, oh, he's gonna get in the internet, he's gonna find us. They don't really stick with that like they should. And then they go to Hawkeye's farm, and as soon as they leave Hawkeye's farm, Ultron's internet finding them really poses no threat anymore, which is kind of ridiculous, because, like, why do we go to the farm then? Ooh, Hawkeye has a family. Ooh. Congratulations, Hawkeye. At this part, I was just kind of like, yay, more humanization for the most unnecessarily hated Avenger. I don't really call him that, but I do love Jeremy Renner. Jeremy, if you watch this, I love you. And you were the best part about Tag. And, your 2-minute cameo in Thor is really cool. Scarlet Witch has her worst accent yet, which I'm glad it just fades as the movies go on. Elizabeth Olsen just kind of in the movie. The entire Avengers cast, like the A6 as Jeremy Renner calls them, they're pretty good. The after party scene is so cool. So good. It's just this nice fast-paced kickback scene. It was the first scene that they shot when they were making Avengers Age of Ultron, so there's a cool little tidbit for you. Avengers Age of Ultron 6. We are on to the good tier. First, Spider-Man Homecoming. I loved it, then I hated it, and now I like it. Tom Holland kind of annoys me as Spider-Man, but he's really good as Spider-Man. Good job, you guys finally cast a teenager. I don't know how fucking hard that was. Michael Keaton's really fucking good as the villain. Completely unexpected twist. Very good job there. Thanks, Sony, for fucking up the continuity by putting your stupid 8-year time jump trying to make this take place in 2020. That was fucking dumb. I hope you feel real stupid for that. It's a high school movie disguised as a superhero movie. Iron Man shouldn't have been in it. I don't feel bad about saying that, even though he's dead now. A lot of people have tweeted, stupidly, that, oh, those people who pissed and moaned about Iron Man being in Homecoming are gonna miss him in Far From Home. I'm like, no they're not, because in the latest Far From Home trailer, what's Peter mourning about? I see him everywhere! Shut up, bitch. Get over it, okay? It's probably been like 6 months. Ooh. How long does death really last? Only forever, okay? You'll join him soon, bro. Maybe, if we're lucky. What?
Ooh, we're getting deep.
I'm really pissed that Spider-Man is just kind of an idiot at certain points. He can't help but making Ned not look like a fucking idiot at the party. Like, he could have dropped in for 2 seconds, been like, hey, Peter Parker's really fucking cool, Flash. You should stop bullying him. Hey, Ned, dap him up or some dumb shit like that. Like, literally, he has to go on this stupid battle and then get jump scared by Vulture, which that scare actually scares the shit out of me to this day. Because it's actually really terrifying if you're just Spider-Man, you're going after a truck, and then Vulture literally goes like, you're like, holy shit, that's Michael Keaton. And it's like, would it be scary if it was Michael Keaton or if it's the fucking green goggles? But you don't know what it is, because either way, I mean, like, you're trying to pork his daughter. The finale sucks. The fight on top of the invisible Stark plane is stupid. I don't like it. The moment where he decides to just stop being a little bitch and fucking lift the gravel is corny, but it's lifted from the comics, so people love it. Jon Favreau is happy in this movie kind of annoys me. Marissa Tomei is too hot as Aunt May. It's freaky. Zendaya is MJ, right? She's kind of boring as MJ. Spider-Man's just a good guy through and through. He gets 2 thumbs up. The only other movie in the good tier is Iron Man 3. If you look past your own stupid complaint about, oh, the Mandarin's not actually the Mandarin, it's this fire-breathing
person.
Yeesh. Those are what you guys say. That's not what I say. I really, really like seeing Robert Downey Jr. as Tony Stark post First Avengers. He knocks it out of the park in this fucking movie. And the fact that it's directed by Shane Black is a match made in heaven, because these two are so good together. But Shane Black uses violence in such a way that makes sense. Like, he just has this goofy kind of violence, but it's also, like, really hard-hitting when it needs to be. Like, that scene where Iron Man and Pepper and Iron Man's old fling are, like, at the house, and then the fucking missile comes in. You're like, holy shit, somebody's gonna fucking die, and, like, they're suiting up in slow-mo. That part's so tight. So tight. Shane Black and Robert Downey Jr. do such a great job with this movie. The airplane scene, so cool. So cool. Literally, I think it's like 7 or 8 people get blown out of an airplane and Iron Man has to go save them all. They literally recorded that for real. Okay? That almost gives Tom Cruise a run for his money for just that one scene. Just that one scene. But overall, the movie's it's pretty good, actually. A lot of people don't give it enough credit. It's certainly more of a comedy drama than it is a superhero movie, which I think that's when these films are at their best, is when they're not trying to be a superhero movie. I would say that you should try Iron Man 3 again. Forget your own stupid bias, because it is stupid. Things change from the comic books. Fucking idiot. It'll be okay, and it's a pretty good movie. Iron Man 3... low 7 out of 10. Starting off the great tier, we have Captain America 2, The Winter Soldier. This movie has taken me so many watches to appreciate. I watched it for the 3rd time, and I was like, holy shit, this is a dope-ass spy movie with some good fights. Falcon's not useless in this movie, and ScarJo as Black Widow is actually kind of cool. The opening scene on the boat's pretty hard. Captain America straight up knees a dude into the fucking side of the boat, and he goes like, boom! This was also the Russo's very first MCU movie, and you can definitely see it. They have corrected their color palette a lot, but that is one of the major problems with this movie. Everything that happens at the Triskelion or any of the other S.H.I.E.L.D. buildings where S.H.I.E.L.D. vehicles and shit are like interacting with Captain America, or Captain America's fighting them, the color palette just looks very gray and boring. Robert Redford as Alexander Pierce is not a bad character by any means. Anthony Mackie, I think he's a better actor than what is shown in this movie, but that's how these guys are. Chris Evans isn't exactly the best in Captain America, the First Avenger. The only one who really hit it out of the park their first time, I think, was Robert Downey Jr., and that's just because him and Jon Favreau were giving it their all, being all buddy-buddy and shit. I mean, Anthony Mackie does a pretty serviceable job, and like I said, he's actually quite useful in this movie. Same with Black Widow, she's kind of a dope-ass spy chick. There's this one scene where, like, Nick Fury gets fucking shot, and that part's pretty dope, because then Captain America's like, oh shit, and he's like running, and he like throws his shield, and Winter Soldier's all like, nah, bitch, and he like looks at him, and you're like, holy shit, that motherfucker got Cap's shield, and then it like never happens ever again. It's so cool. I like it a lot. I like what it does with S.H.I.E.L.D., because I know that that's what the Russos do. They're like, hey, what can we do to throw a fucking wrench in the cogs on this, bitch? And then they actually did it, and they did it very, very well. So, good job, Russos, on your very first outing.
Captain America Winter Soldier, 8 out of 10.
Up next, we got Thor Ragnarok. Thor Ragnarok is here because it's not the first two Thor movies. Chris Hemsworth gets a dope haircut. Mark Ruffalo's great as the Hulk. Tessa Thompson's a dope-ass Valkyrie. The only problem with this movie that's holding it back from being God tier is everything with Hela. Hela, once she goes to Asgard, it's so bad and it's so depressing. Seeing her murder all those people doesn't make me, fear Hela. It just makes me sad. She kills, the entire Asgardian army. She kills Thor's buddy, which, thank God, Thor's buddies, which, thank God, because those guys were fucking boring. I enjoy the fact that they picked up Taika Waititi and they allowed him to do whatever the fuck he really wanted. And it kind of shows. I feel like Marvel forced him to have the Hela side plot in there, which is why those parts suck. But everything on Sakaar, everything with Jeff Goldblum in this movie is absolute gold. The "You have been pardoned" pause from life is so good to this day. Loki's not that good in this movie. It's like Thor says, he's too predictable at this point. He's still a conniving piece of shit for no reason. Yeah, like I said, Mark Ruffalo is actually really good in this movie. He makes a funny joke about why Tony's pants are so tight. There's a really cool CG trick where, Banner starts to get angry, right after he turns back from the Hulk, and, you see, his green veins come up, and his voice starts to deepen. I really like that. That's good. And obviously, Korg is the second best character, voiced by Taika Waititi. He's so hilarious. I'm glad they brought him back for Endgame. Everything he says is gold. His little voice is so cute. The Asgard scenes! They finally get good when Thor actually comes back. Idris Elba's underused as always, as Heimdall, as he is in the other two movies, which is sad because Idris Elba is one of the best actors working today. I've said it now and I'll say it again and again and again. Yeah, that's really all I gotta say about it. It's really funny. It's a solid movie.
Thor Ragnarok, high 8.
Up next on the great tier, we've got the first Avengers movie. This used to be God tier, and then Infinity War came out, and then Endgame came out. And it's just shown how this movie is not going to move from the great tier because it's revolutionary in what it did. The first half hour is a total slog, and I can't say that I enjoy it, and I never have. Hour and a half goes by, that's all fine. There's the whole shit with repairing the helicarrier, which goes on for so long. You don't even realize that it's almost half an hour long that Hawkeye and Loki destroy this helicarrier, or repair this helicarrier, and they're repairing it for so long. The Avengers did the end sequence from Transformers Dark of the Moon so much better. The Battle of New York. And honestly, I actually like the battle in Chicago and Transformers Dark of the Moon, but I think that there's too much going on and too much of a similar color palette between all the Transformers. That's always been their problem. The Avengers did it very, very good, as the colors were quite flashy, and Joss Whedon did a very good job directing the action sequences. The movie is corny as hell, but it's good. Also, props to everyone who thought that they knew who Thanos was when he showed up in the end credits sequence. You're a fucking liar, and you definitely didn't know who he was.
Avengers, below 8.
The last movie in the great tier is Guardians of the Galaxy 2. This is a sequel that does not live up to the original, surprise, surprise, but it is also a sequel that is quite overlooked because it is a sequel. People think it suffers from sequelitis. I've said sequel so many times in the last 30 seconds that I don't want to say it again for the next 10 years. It's a good character development movie. Ego the Living Planet is definitely where they started flipping the switch on actually good villains. Kurt Russell, I think, gives a very, very darn good and convincing performance as this dude who doesn't think he's doing anything wrong, but also feels bad for when he has to actually, axe some people. And I really like the scene where Peter Quill finds out that he gave his mom cancer. And it also justifies why he's a dumbass when he finds out Thanos murked Gamora, because his instant reaction to Ego telling him that is just pew, 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 pew. So it honestly makes sense, and y'all are kind of retarded for bitching about that. We get Baby Groot, and he's cute, and I hate saying that because he's such a fad. I like the teams that are in this movie. I like Drax, Mantis, Gamora, and Star-Lord that are all with like ego, and then you've got Rocket and Groot with the Ravager. But Michael Rooker dying in that movie's sad, obviously, because Michael Rooker is, again, another great actor wasted by Disney. We'll fucking cry about it later, whatever. The Awesome mixtape is better than the first. The Chain by Fleetwood Mac perfectly summarizes up the entirety of the movie when you listen to it, and that's why it's so great. That's why it's so great, because I don't think that there was any one song off of the Guardians 1 Awesome tape that really summed up the movie, although that does not devalue Guardians 1. It's a good movie, Groot's cute, soundtrack better than the first.
Guardians 2, low 8.
We finally reached the God tier. I know a lot of you are wondering, Alex, you haven't said Doctor Strange yet. You damn right, bitch, because Doctor Strange is in the God tier. I love this movie, okay? More than I should. This movie is one of the best Marvel movies, and I can say that without a doubt. I will no longer say that it's one of the best movies of all time because I realize that's fucking insane. Doctor Strange is either the best or the second best standalone movie in the MCU. I don't know what I consider Guardians 1. I don't know if that's a standalone movie, but it's kind of the Space Avengers, so Iron Man and Doctor Strange are the best standalone movies. Doctor Strange is great because Benedict Cumberbatch plays a perfect American asshole. His accent is so weird, and I can't stop hearing it in my head. Him playing an American is so funny to me. It's pretty much Iron Man with magic. I don't know what to tell you. The visuals are great. The storytelling's so average that it's fine, because the visuals, like I keep saying, they're great. Benedict Cumberbatch is good. Chiwetel Ejiofor is a pretty decent character in it. Tilda Swinton as the Ancient One is badass. Mads Mikkelsen is sadly kind of wasted, but he's actually good in the parts that he's in, so he more than makes up for the lack of purpose he ends up bringing to the end. Dormammu's in this movie, and he's fucking weird, and it's awesome because he's literally this floating head that could eat the dimension at any time that he wants, but Doctor Strange is so smart that he's like, time loop, bitch. I'm literally gonna make you sick of killing me. And he does. He succeeds in making Dormammu bored. Dormammu, stop being bored. Please come back. Doctor Strange, I love this movie. I love this movie more than I should. I can admit that. But the visuals are great, and I love Benedict Cumberbatch in this movie. And I think it has a great message. Don't fucking text and drive. Actually, text and drive maybe, because you could end up as a fucking badass wizard.
No, do not text and drive.
This movie's a 10 out of 10, in my opinion. I love this movie. Next, we'll do the final standalone movie for the MCU that I will be talking about, and that is Iron Man, the first one, the one that started it all the way back in 2008, thanks to Jon Favreau, Kevin Feige, and Robert Downey Jr. This movie's great all around, subverts everything, takes a B-list hero, makes him an A-lister. It's great that they were able to take a character that just fits so well with this actor. I really have nothing but praise for this movie. I don't even think Jeff Bridges is bad in this movie. I quite like him as the villain. I don't even care about the evil robot Jeff Bridges complex that Cosmonaut Variety Hour talks about. I think his motivations are fine enough. I mean, you know, if you were second to Howard Stark your entire life and then his son, how would you feel?
I forgot to mention that Jeff Bridges has probably the best scene in the entire movie where he's talking to the doctor when he wants to make his Ironmonger suit. Which, what's up with these MCU movies and just making the villains blah 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 monger? But also, he's talking to the scientist Dr. Dude, and he's like, Tony Stark built this in a cave with a box of scraps! And it's...
The sound in this movie. I really like the gunshot sounds and the Iron Man sounds. They're very hard-hitting for this kind of like future but also now vibe that they got. and Iron Man suiting up for the first time successfully and flying out of his house is still one of the best scenes in the MCU. The I Am Iron Man at the end, absolute gold. Apparently it was ad-libs. I think that's stupid that came out 10 years, 11 years after it got released. But anyways, Iron Man 1, the one that started it all, still fantastic to this day.
Iron Man, low 9.
What could be considered a standalone movie, but I'm still not sure, so I'm calling it Avengers in Space, is Guardians of the Galaxy 1. There's no other movie like it, in my opinion, in the MCU, because this movie, they didn't know it was going to work. Okay, they don't even have the original Guardians of the Galaxy. Yeah, your favorite character, Star-Lord, not even an OG Guardian of the Galaxy. Best first viewing experience for any Marvel movie that I have ever had. Some of these Marvel movies have taken multiple viewings to fully appreciate, but Guardians 1, I fell in love with as soon as I saw it. I have no complaints about this movie. It's gold. Guardians of the Galaxy.
Guardians, 10.
We got Infinity War, bitch. I didn't like when I first saw it. I thought Josh Brolin as Thanos was kind of a whiny bitch. And it kind of pissed me off with how little there was heroes in it. But after many repeat viewings, I find myself enjoying it more and more and more due to just how impressive of a movie it is that it even exists. The fact that the heroes that we have known for 18 movies at that point were just taking a back seat to this purple mean dude who really wanted to get his rock collection expanded. I hadn't seen that really in a superhero movie before, and I know people can argue, well, The Dark Knight did it. Yeah, except no, it fucking didn't. Okay, the Joker is just kind of he's there. But no, Infinity War is Thanos' movie. I think it's such a feat that they pulled off, and I'm glad I gave it like 30 more chances. By the second I was sold, I will say that. Infinity War is an impressive movie. It's a good movie. Yeah, that's good. Infinity War is really good.
Infinity War, another high 9.
Endgame. You knew it was coming. A lot of people have problems with this movie. I don't know why. This movie is 3 hours worth of fulfillment, character development, and 11 years of filmmaking paying off. And I say filmmaking as a genuine thing. Like some of these movies I don't like, but they all built to this. They all came to this final point, this end game as everyone calls it. Side note, originally the title that was considered for a very long time was Avengers Infinity Gauntlet, and I'm so happy they didn't go with that because that is a bad title. It really is like full wish fulfillment. I have never come out of a movie feeling so satisfied besides The Force Awakens when I first saw it.
So one of my only complaints about Avengers Endgame is that the title card is just not hard-hitting like the other ones, and to demonstrate that, since nobody knows what that means, I'll go ahead and roll the clips of the other Avengers title cards, and then Endgame.
In a nutshell, everything about this movie works. The first hour you can say it drags, but it's so worth it. It needs to drag. But you can't say it drags in a bad way. It's building to this. It's building to the most important culmination of events that have ever happened in like a series of films ever. And the fact that it doesn't feel too muddled ever is such an impressive feat. And the Marvel logo comes up, and all the characters that got dusted in Infinity War aren't in the Marvel logo. Nice detail. And Dear Mr. Fantasy starts playing. oh my god. It was at that point that I was like, holy shit, this movie's happening. I wasn't wild about Captain America's ending the first time I saw it, but it fits. I don't know, he's been selfless his whole life, so being selfish for once is fine. Robert Downey Jr. doesn't deserve an Oscar for his performance. Maybe an honoring at the Oscars. I think that Avengers Endgame should be considered for Best Picture. So, Avengers Endgame is the best MCU movie.
Endgame, also a 10.
Some of you might have been wondering, but if you know me, you know that I fucking hate Civil War. Coming off of Endgame right here, this is such a bummer to talk about, but it needs to be said. Civil War was the first time I watched a Marvel movie and was like, holy shit. These movies might not be as good as I think they are. The problem with Civil War is that there just is not enough. There's not enough heroes, and this movie somehow feels bloated. There's not enough, and yet it feels bloated. Now that's a bit of a, what's the word I'm looking for, babe?
Oh, it feels counterintuitive to say that.
Feels counterintuitive in saying that, but this movie somehow does it. The Russos did not fix their color palette problems. Okay, the airport battle was cool the first time I saw it. Every time I watch it since then, I cannot help but notice how fake it looks, how gray and bland all the colors are, how everyone will not stop quipping as they are like trying to kill each other, even though they're not really trying to kill each other, and that's the fucking problem. That's the goddamn problem with this movie. There are no fucking stakes. Tony, by the time Infinity War rolls around, has just completely forgotten that he hates Cap because he's protecting Bucky because Bucky fucking killed his mom. It's so inconsequential. Nobody dies in this movie, and that's a problem. Even if it had been Rhodey that died, I would have been like, damn, at least somebody fucking died. I don't care if you introduce Spider-Man. Black Panther's really good in this movie, I do want to say that. It certainly doesn't fit in the Captain America trilogy. Robert Downey Jr. is better in this movie than Chris Evans is. Chris Evans is just kind of a stubborn asshole for no reason, which is why it doesn't fit in the Captain America trilogy. You're literally a hero and you're just being a stubborn douchebag because someone doesn't want to let you help out your brainwashed friend. Tony literally offers right before you make this stupid move of not signing it because, oh, he's trying to manipulate you. Yeah, he's trying to manipulate you from getting yourself fucking killed, you idiot. It sucks.
Civil War gets a 1 out of 10.
This has been the definitive Marvel ranking. Feel free to disagree. I mean, it's the internet. And you're a human, so you're welcome to have your own opinion.